What's up, guys? The idea for today's video all started in a recent video, actually, the one where I did a look based on First Wives Club, and I used this blush. This is the Be Matte blush in the shade Papaya from the brand City Color. I used it, I loved it, I wore it, and as I was typing all the products that I was using and wearing in the description box of that video, I realized this is no longer available, which helps no one. But this is a blush color and formula that I really love, so I got to work trying to find a dupe for it in my collection. And on the way, I found quite a few, well, not really that, a handful of other products, I guess, that had been discontinued, and then felt compelled to find dupes for those too. So this video is going to be about those discontinued products and the products that I currently own that I found to replace them. And I will say, not all of them are exact dupes. It was a roller coaster ride of an experience trying to find these. You'll soon see why. But hopefully it'll be a fun one nonetheless. So let's get started. So let's go ahead and start with the blush that started this all. This, like I said, shade Papaya, it's a matte finish and I love it because it walks the line between a blush and a bronzer. It is bronzy based but has a good hint of pink in there, which really shows up when you actually apply it. If you watch that video, you'll be able to see it was actually almost too pink for the bronze that I was looking to use it for. But it still walks that line, and as a result, I find it's extra beautiful when worn as a blush bronzer combo. It's kind of a do-it-all sort of product that I really like. So when I was looking for comparable shades, I first came across this from Bareminerals. It was one of their, I think they were called Ready blushes, and I'm saying that in the past tense because no longer available. This is the shade The Close Call, and it was a close call as far as coming up with something similar. It's not quite as pink, like pinky coral, but it is relatively bronzy, has a hint of pink, could accomplish the same thing, but not available. So then, baby, the baseboards, do they need to be cleaned right now, darling? Sweetheart? Now's the time?
Anytime.
Okay. Thank you. Wow, those baseboards are looking nice. Oh, take your time. Take your time. It's less dusting I had to do. I'm very appreciative of it.
Okay, carry on.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think I can feel dust in my lip gloss. Bye. The blush I ultimately found that came closest, that I have anyway, is this one from L'Oreal. It was part of their Paradise Enchanted Peach collection, a scented blush, which actually I think the scent has really calmed down since I bought this. But this is in the shade Charming, and you can see it has a teensy hint of shimmer to it. It is not totally matte. It's also not totally the same shade as Papaya. It's a little bit more bronze, a little less pink, story of the story. But it is what we're working with, and as far as me liking to use Papaya as a combo blush, like all-in-one blush bronzer, I do think that Charming works just as well at doing that too. So this is as close as I am getting, but I would love for all of these picks to hear your thoughts if you have other products and shades that might better dupe these down in the comments below. Next up, let's talk liquid bronzer. This guy from Cover FX had fallen to the way back of my drawer, but when I saw it, I remembered, one, how much I loved it, and two, I'm pretty sure it's discontinued. This is the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drop in the shade Sun-Kissed, and not all of these are discontinued, as you'll soon find out. I thought they all were, but they just discontinued the bronze shades, which are such a bummer because these are phenomenal, not just for using as a bronzer, which I did today. By the way, for a lot of these products, I applied them to the left half of my face, and the new products that I found are applied to the right, starting with this bronzer. I am wearing this over here on my left. It's so beautiful because it's a liquid. It blends seamlessly into liquid and cream foundations, or you can use it as a foundation adjuster, and if you don't have a deeper foundation during the summer and you're getting more sun, couple drops of this into your foundation, it can totally adjust it to your natural shade. So I love these. I think they're very versatile. Not sure why they did away with them, but luckily there is a very, very close dupe out there, and it is in the form of the Bareminerals Bare Pro Glow bronzers. The shade that is right for me is Faux Tan, and so that is what I'm wearing on the right side of my face right here. So they are very close, fortunately, and they accomplish exactly the same thing. You can wear the Bare Pro Glow liquid bronzers in your foundation, on top of your foundation, every which way you want. They're very versatile. They do the same thing as the Cover FX. Now, like I said before, I thought they discontinued all these drops. So when I spotted the Custom Enhancer drop in Halo, I was heartbroken because this is a gorgeous iridescent purple shifting highlighter. I am wearing it over here on the left side of my face. So I was elated when I found an almost perfect dupe for it, and it was in a drugstore product or like a more affordable product. It is in the Flower Beauty Galactic Glow Holographic palette. And plus, not only do you get a powder highlight that is almost exactly identical to this one up here, it's this naturally an iridescent purple one, you get 3 other shadows or highlighters, powders here too that you can wear on your face, or as shadows if you want. You do you. And that I'm wearing over here on this side of my face. You know how I love to apply my colorful highlighters. If you want to temper them, make them a little bit less colorful, you can easily mix them with things here, but the way I like to do them is go apply a more natural color highlight where I would like on the broader parts of my cheeks, then go in with that colorful shade right here in the outermost corner, like the underside of my eye. Right there will give you a great, nice dimensional look to your highlight, and that's how I like to use this, or the Cover FX. But if you can't get your hands on the Cover FX, want something a little bit more affordable, more versatile, this is a great palette to reach for. Last up for the face, I have a little palette, and this is one that I used to wear like crazy a couple years back. It is the Rimmel and Kate, just contour palette, I guess, in the shade Coral Glow. They didn't have a whole lot of variety when it came to the color combos here, and this one was a little light. I loved that it was fair enough when I was fair, like in the winter months, but the second I got a little bit more sun, I did have to work to build this, both the bronzer and the blush a little bit more, but the highlight in here was absolutely gorgeous. And fortunately, this is not a hard one to dupe. So many brands have very similar trios like this. Most recently, actually, and the one that I've been liking a whole lot has been the Stay Naked threesome. And I like it not just because I have the one called Naked, but they actually, kind of like my main gripe with this one from Rimmel, they only had like 2, maybe 3 variations of shades you could get, and all of them were pretty fair. Like none of them had a ton of pigment. They were all a little limited when it came to the shade range, and these from Urban Decay, there are like quite a few out there that look like they have deeper bronzers, blushes with a ton of pigmentation, just a nice variety there. So Naked is the right one for me, and I've really been liking that as a like a grab and go where you have all 3 in one. But there are so many other brands, like I don't even know if they're still available, but Maybelline had one, L'Oreal had one. Like if you're looking for drugstore, there is no shortage of trios like this there too. And last, I have an eyeshadow palette. Well, a few eyeshadow palettes. So I first came across this one from Physicians Formula. They released it a couple years ago to celebrate their anniversary, I want to say. And cute little vintage packaging, a classic neutrals palette, but at the time I remember liking it because these were intensely shimmery shadows. I mean, paired with 2 classic warm neutral mattes, but the shimmery shadows had a little bit of texture to them, and it was before we'd really seen textures like this from the drugstore, high-end, like period. It was like shimmer, glitter, and matte, I feel like, and not a whole lot of texture like this. So when I looked it up, found that it was no longer available, I thought that a warm neutral palette with textured shimmers, like this is gonna be a no-brainer, right? It was actually a little harder. First, starting off with a major heartbreaker, the ColourPop I Think I Love You palette. This is a gorgeous palette. Fits the bill, like it is a nice warm tone neutrals, and actually for a very similar price, maybe even cheaper than Physicians Formula, given how expensive their products tend to be, you get not only the essentials that are in the Physicians Formula, the quad, but a ton of other beautiful bronzy shades, classic black, a gold shade, like you just get more variety. But this is no longer available, which is a big bummer. So the next best thing, and what I am wearing on the right side of my face, because like I said, I am wearing all of the discontinued products, this Physicians Formula quad over on the left. On my right, I am wearing the Milani Bare Necessities Everyday Eyes palette. And in case you were wondering why my eyes seemed a little two-toned today, it's because they are. So despite looking very similar at face value, the Milani is definitely cooler, and I think it really shows when it's actually on the eyes. Maybe from afar you can't see it, but I just feel like when I was doing my makeup and looking up close, it was like cool neutrals, really warm neutrals. So there is a little bit of a subtle difference there, but you still get a neutral palette option from the drugstore with a mixture of textures. You have some really high shine, like almost metallic shimmery shades in here, along with those matte shades, but they're really pretty. But of course, there is also a higher end, like much more comprehensive textured neutrals palette. I mean, that you could reach for if you really, really want to. It contains every shade and texture you could want and then some. This is obviously the Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette. I also really, really love it too. As I was thinking to myself, what are the textured neutrals palettes I have? This one was one of the first to come to mind solely because of the name, but naturally also because it has everything inside. So obviously a little bit more of an investment here than in the Milani, but felt the need to bring it up because it's definitely one of my favorites to have and fits the bill of a textured neutrals palette. So those are all the discontinued products I found and dupes, close and not so close, in my collection. I'm sure there are more in my collection. In fact, I was surprised I didn't see any lipsticks, but I do tend to be better about decluttering those when I know they're bad versus powder products that I feel like I can more easily sanitize, and so I just keep around forever. Didn't find any lipsticks, but I'm sure there's some lurking back there along with others elsewhere in my collection, so maybe you'll see another one of these in the future. Let me know if you enjoyed it. I'd love to hear down in the comments. Besides that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.